Today is Juneteenth, and I know a lot of you out there are enjoying yourselves with family and friends, having a great time, just enjoying this day that we have here, in which Juneteenth has come today. And I know a lot of you out there probably getting your barbecue on, you got family and friends over, just having a good time, got your cocktails rolling, all that good stuff. But guys, there's one thing we got to keep in mind. The number 3, what does that number 3 mean to African Americans? It means a lot. And Coach gonna go ahead and jump on in this thing and tell you exactly what the number 3 means, because I know some of you may know, some of you may not, but we're gonna talk about it right after this. You know, it's your favorite coach back at it again, 10 toes down, about to tell you how it all went down. This is Tomorrow Leader Sports Network with your host, Coach Walker. If you're new to the channel, please like, share, subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you can get all upcoming videos. For all my leaders out there, welcome back. Y'all know the drill. Y'all know the routine. If you haven't done so already, please like, comment, and share these videos. And tap in a friend or two and tell them to come on in. It's nothing but positive vibes. We're just having a good time talking about HBCU sports. And don't forget, you can follow us on all social media platforms. The links are listed down below in the description. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump on in this thing. But first, let me get some house cleaning out the way, because I know some folks are going to say, hey, Coach, you said HBCU sports. This ain't about HBCU sports. You're talking about the number 3, and you're talking about Juneteenth. This is not about HBCU sports. Well, guys, I've let you guys know ahead of time, before and after, and if you're new, guess what? Coach might talk about a lot of different topics outside of sports that just have to do with HBCUs in general, or just have to do with African Americans in general, or just have to do with all of us in general. You get what I'm saying? So it just depends on what talking points I might want to jump on in at that period in time, where I'll go ahead and deliver it to you. But this is one thing that I said, you know what? Today is that day. We're all seeing things come across our screens as far as with, you know, the different stories that want to be told. You know, people, as they like to say, those who own the airwaves, those who own the television, the newspapers, they get to put out and produce whatever it is that they wish as far as what they deliver to the masses. And when they deliver those things to the masses, oftentimes we get so consumed with it where we believe some of the rhetoric that's being told to us, because we're not really sitting down doing some type of research, or better yet, we just ain't doing no research at all to find out what's really popping and what's really happening out here in these streets, or better yet, what happened in them streets before many of us got here. And I say this to you all because I want you to understand one thing. A lot of times when things are put out there to us and we don't do the research, we tend to take that as gospel. And this, you know, it's not gospel. Coach is just giving you his feelings on where, you know, the number 3 and Juneteenth, how all of this, you know, how I'm reflecting on it today. And like I stated, today is Juneteenth, and many of us must look at the road that we travel and see how far we've come, and look at where we're looking to go later on down the line. Because remember, a lot of you out there are just getting on that road, where many of us, we might be a little further ahead, where we're trying to, you know, pave the way for you to continue to keep on coming through, where it's not as chaotic and crazy as it was back then. But we do have some folks out here in this world that want to take us back to yesterday. And you know, the sad part about it is that people often say history has a tendency of repeating itself. But I'm going to tell you this. Looking at how things have grown over the years, and looking at how things have begun to evolve, especially within the African American community, as well as other communities out there as well, people are not going to allow yesterday to rear its ugly face again, because things are on a different pitch. Yeah, you got some out there that's trying to echo different sentiments as far as how they want things to go, but it's just not happening like that. You got some that's going to march to that tune, while you got a lot more others saying, hey, y'all can pack that up and go the other way. But let me get back on topic here as far as what's going on, because I'm giving you all of that ahead of time, because when we look at that road that's been traveled and we look at where we're looking to go, I looked at 3 different people. And I'm not going to jump completely into everything that they did, but I just want to gloss over some of the things that they were able to accomplish for us to continue to keep moving forward to how we got to where we are now. And like I said, these are people that we're talking about in the past that have, you know, I'm not going to talk about everybody, because there's a lot of folks that has been in this fight trying to make sure that we continue to keep marching forward. One person in particular I'm going to talk about is Dr. McLeod Bethune, who was the founder of Bethune-Cookman College, now Bethune-Cookman University, who believed in uplifting people and empowering them through education and fighting for social justice, which is something that we've continued to keep doing. And you see right now in the state of Florida, what's going on. They're trying to prevent them from doing what? Fighting for social justice. Now, I'm gonna come back to that one. Trust me, I'm gonna come back to that one. We have another one, Miss Harriet Tubman, who was the first woman who led an armed military raid June 1863. She also fought for women's rights and established a nursing home. Next person I'm going to speak about here is how a lot of these things got to rolling as far as, you know, some of the stuff that, you know, it parallels what somebody's trying to do down there in Florida. And I have to bring that up because of the fact that, as I stated before, history has a tendency of trying to repeat itself. But oftentimes we have to be smart enough to understand exactly what's going on to move the needle where we need to move it to and focus in on the task at hand. As far as I stated before, the road that we're on and the road that we've been on and where we're looking to go is two totally different places. Like I said, we started in one place. We've been moving along. Now we're looking to go somewhere else. The next young man I'm talking about is none other than Mr. Nat Turner, who led a slave revolt in 1831, believed he was led by a higher power to lead a group of lead a group of people in a revolt against slavery. While many would say Nat Turner and the other enslaved people who joined Nat Turner's troops sparked off what is known as the Civil War, but the enslavers wanted Mr. Turner and his troops to pay for what they had done. And what they did was, in 9 states, not only was Mr. Turner hanged, and in some instances they say that he was skinned or whatever have you, but in 9 states, Virginia, Alabama, Delaware, Georgia, Louisiana, Maryland, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Tennessee, who all passed laws targeting free black people on how they could move about, congregating together, having religious services, or preaching to more than 5 people in a crowd. Now, if that's not something that takes you back to what Mr. Governor DeSantis is trying to do down there in Florida, in which he doesn't want African-American studies taught, he doesn't want CRT, he doesn't want, he has this woke policy now as far as with people being woke. So I guess people were woke back in the 1800s where you had Nat Turner, Harriet Tubman, as well as Dr. McLeod Bethune, all of these individuals that were looking to move the African-American race a little further than where they were at that time, because as we all keep saying, we're all supposed to, we're all created equal. So if we're all created equal, then why are we going through some of the things that we're going through? But I digress. But I will say this, it didn't stop there, because a lot of those states, as I named previously, they had put laws in place prohibiting African Americans of being educated. Not only that, they were not allowed to read and write. So if you want to put a cherry on top, that's why I say the states, some states didn't believe in some states didn't believe in African Americans living there. Let's be honest with that. But then when you take a look at Cheyney University being the first HBCU that was ever created, that was basically set up for the children of slaves to get education, in which those children came back and taught their parents how to read and write. So yeah, while we were behind as far as we're trying to move forward from an educational standpoint, you had the children at the time that was coming in trying to teach their parents how to read and write and get an understanding of the different things that was going on so that they can move themselves further ahead in life. But when I looked at the words of what the General Order Number 3, when it was read by General Gordon Granger on June 19th, 1865 in Galveston, Texas, it states, the people of Texas are informed that in accordance with a proclamation from the executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves, and in connection heretofore existing between them becomes that between employer and hired laborer. Now, while we've been fighting this fight for over 158 years since the General Order Number 3 was read, and today is definitely a day of celebration. But one thing I want everyone to keep in mind, while we celebrate our freedom, we have some that want to take us back to yesterday. So we must continue to keep fighting and making sure that we continue to educate ourselves on how far we've come and how far we're looking to go. But guys, Coach gonna go ahead and get up on out this thing. I hope everybody's having a fantastic Juneteenth. Make sure you're safe out there. Love on your loved ones. Let them know how much you love them. And also to all the fathers out there, happy Father's Day. I hope you guys had a great Father's Day. You was able to get the big piece of the chicken for once. You know, you got the big breast off the plate instead of you getting the drumstick and the wing. I hope you had a great day. But guys, Coach gonna go ahead and get on up out this thing. But until next time, be the one and lead.